The day everything fell apart. The heartbreak I never recovered from. Hi everyone. I've had this account for years and never posted, just lurked on here when the nights got too quiet. But I'm 34 now. It's 3 a.m. on a random Tuesday in November, and I can't keep carrying this alone anymore. I've told bits and pieces to therapists, to my mom once when I was drunk, to the empty passenger seat of my car on long drives home from nowhere. No one's ever heard the whole thing. I'm not looking for advice. I don't think there is any. I just need to put it somewhere outside my own head before it eats the rest of me. This is the story of how I lost the only person I ever really loved, and how I lost myself trying to hold on to her. I guess it starts in 2011. I was 20, a sophomore at a state school in the Midwest, living in a crumbling off-campus house with 3 other guys who mostly played Call of Duty and forgot to buy toilet paper. I studied graphic design, but spent more time working the late shift at a 24-hour diner to pay rent. That's where I met Ellie. She came in every Thursday around 11:30 p.m., always sat in the same booth by the window, always ordered a coffee, black, and a slice of cherry pie she barely touched. She had this dark red hair that she wore twisted up with a pencil, and these huge green eyes that looked like they'd seen everything twice. She was 22, finishing her nursing degree, and she was exhausting in the best way. Talked a mile a minute about anatomy labs, her little brother who had just come out to their conservative parents, the stray cat colony behind the hospital. I'd top off her coffee for free and linger longer than I needed to. After 3 weeks, she finally laughed at one of my stupid jokes and wrote her number on the back of the check. We fell hard and fast, the way only early 20s people who've never had their hearts broken can. She moved into the terrible house with the Call of Duty boys 6 months later because her roommate had dropped out and she couldn't afford her apartment alone. We painted our bedroom this soft sage green and strung fairy lights over the bed because the overhead bulb flickered. We had exactly $47 in joint savings for the longest time and thought we were rich. There were so many little things I still think about. The way she danced in socked feet to old Nora Jones songs while doing dishes. How she called spaghetti sauce gravy because her Italian grandma did. The tiny scar on her left knee from when she was 8 and tried to jump her bike over a creek. The way she said, "I love you," like it was the easiest thing in the world. Never saved it for special occasions. Just slipped it into normal sentences. Can you grab milk on your way home? I love you. Don't forget your inhaler. I love you. Like breathing. We got married in 2016 in her parents' backyard because it was free and beautiful in May. I wore a $120 suit from Macy's, and she wore her grandmother's lace dress that her mom had to let out in the bust because Ellie was curvier than Nonna ever was. We wrote our own vows and cried so hard we could barely get the words out. Our first dance was to The Book of Love by Peter Gabriel, and when it got to the part about the Book of Love is long and boring, she laughed into my shoulder and whispered, "We're going to fill it anyway." The plan was always kids, a house with a porch, maybe a dog that didn't hate me. Ellie wanted 3, I wanted 2, so we joked we'd compromise on 7. She got a job in the NICU after graduation and came home every shift with these impossible stories. Babies born at 23 weeks who somehow made it. Moms who sang lullabies through ventilators. The smell of breast milk and antiseptic. She'd crawl into bed still in her scrubs and cry into my chest when they lost one. I held her every time and thought, God, this woman is going to be the best mother. We started trying in 2018. Nothing crazy, just stopped being careful. Month after month, negative tests. At first it was fine, stress, timing, whatever. Then it was appointments, ovulation kits, temperature charts taped to the fridge. Ellie turned into a spreadsheet. She'd cry in the bathroom when her period came, then paste on a smile and say, "Next month." I felt useless. All I could do was hold her and make dumb jokes about how at least we were getting lots of practice. In 2020, we finally got the positive. She came out of the bathroom waving the stick like it was a winning lottery ticket. We screamed. We called everyone. We laid on the living room floor, staring at the ceiling in shock. She was 10 weeks when we heard the heartbeat, fast little flutters like a hummingbird. We named her June, after the month we hoped she'd be born, and started turning the spare room into a nursery. Soft yellow walls, tiny bookshelves, a rocking chair we found on Facebook Marketplace for $30, then week 13. The bleeding started on a Tuesday. I remember because it was trash night, and I was dragging the bins to the curb when she called me from the bathroom, voice so small I barely recognized it. The ER was chaos. COVID was peaking, mass everywhere, no one allowed to come in with patients. They made me wait in the parking lot. I sat on the hood of our Corolla for 4 hours, staring at the automatic doors. When the doctor finally came out and said, "Fetal demise," I just nodded like I understood English. I don't remember driving home. We tried again, and again. 3 more losses between 2020 and 2023. One at 8 weeks, one at 11, one at 16 that nearly killed Ellie from hemorrhaging. Each time the grief got heavier, sharper, quieter. We stopped telling people early. We stopped telling people at all. The nursery stayed half-finished, yellow walls, empty crib, mobile of paper stars Ellie made that still hangs over nothing. The fighting started small. Who forgot to pick up the progesterone? Whose turn it was to call the insurance about the $4,000 RE bill? Then bigger. She wanted IVF. I wanted to stop before it bankrupted us and broke her body more. I said the wrong thing one night. Something about how maybe we should just accept it wasn't going to happen and adopt. She looked at me like I'd slapped her. "You think I can just give up on my own baby?" The silence after that lasted weeks. By early 2024, we were ghosts in our own house. Different schedules, separate sides of the bed, sex that felt like a medical procedure. She threw herself into work. I threw myself into anything that wasn't home. Overtime at the design agency, pickup basketball, way too much bourbon. We went to counseling for 6 months. The therapist kept saying, "Grief shared is grief halved." It didn't feel halved. It felt doubled, because now we were grieving us too. The day everything actually fell apart was June 12th, 2024, our would-be daughter's due date from the first pregnancy. Ellie had taken the day off months in advance. We'd planned to plant a tree or something symbolic. Instead, she woke up, looked at me across the kitchen like she didn't know who I was, and said, "I can't do this anymore." Not yelling, not crying, just flat, like she'd used everything up. I begged, literally on my knees in the kitchen, snot and tears, promising anything. IVF, adoption, moving, quitting my job, whatever she needed. She just shook her head and said, "You stopped seeing me somewhere along the way. You only see what we lost." Then she packed a duffel bag and went to her sister's. I thought it was a break. A dramatic pause. We'd done breaks before. She'd come back when she was ready. She filed 3 weeks later. The divorce was quiet and brutal. We split the savings, sold the house for way less than we paid because the market sucked. I kept the stupid rocking chair because she said it made her sad to look at it. She kept the dog we'd finally gotten in 2022, this anxious little mutt named Pickles who still sleeps on her side of the bed when I dog sit. I saw her once more at the final hearing in August. She wore the navy blazer she used to wear for nursing interviews and wouldn't meet my eyes. When the judge asked if we had anything to say, I almost laughed, because what the hell do you say? "I still love you" felt obscene in that room, so I said nothing. She signed Eleanor K. Thompson, in perfect cursive like she'd been practicing going back to her old name. It's been 15 months. I live in a 1-bedroom near downtown now. The walls are still landlord beige. Pickles visits every other weekend and stares at the door waiting for her. I gained 30 pounds, lost 20, gained 15 again. I go to work. I go to the gym sometimes. I text my mom too much. I still have the box of baby things in my closet I can't bring myself to donate. The tiny onesies we bought on clearance, the ultrasound photos, The little knit hat from the hospital the one time we made it to the second trimester. Some nights I drive past our old house like a creep. Someone else lives there now. They painted over the yellow nursery, put up Christmas lights already. Normal life marching on. I keep thinking there'll be a moment when it hurts less, when her laugh stops echoing in my head, when I stop checking my phone for texts that will never come. But mostly, I just miss her. Not even the idea of her, the actual person. The way she stole all the blankets and kicked in her sleep. How she pronounced bagel like bagel and got mad when I teased her. The tiny freckle on her left wrist I used to kiss when we held hands. I don't know how to end this except to say I'm sorry. To her, to the kids we never got to meet, to the version of myself that died somewhere in all of this. I used to think love meant never giving up. Now I think sometimes love means letting go even when it tears you in half. If you made it this far, thanks for listening. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with the rest of my life, but at least tonight I'm not carrying this completely alone.